位置についた。
The neoplastic shells act as roadblocks in most circumstances. They can also double as ranged unit platforms. If destroyed, the operator is immediately retreated but have reduced redeploy time. The primary form of generating shells come from the micronucleus centimeters. If the enemy's path are blocked off entirely due to the shells, they will prioritize their original closest route to the blue box. The channeling beacons are devices that need to be charged up by ranged allies over 100 SP in order to activate. Once charged, they will provide all allies in a large radius with 20% burn elemental buildup and slow all enemies in range by 60%. A quick refresher for all but 2 people who raise Warmy. Burn elemental damage when the buildup reaches max makes enemies take 7,000 elemental damage and they have minus 20 res for 10 seconds. The Little Handy from Stofaria Navis returns with some basic abilities. They can clear both neoplastic shells and Nethersea brand, as well as stunning enemies. They also gain a new ability with a push force of 2. The Predator have 0 notable abilities and is a basic trash mob. The Cylinuculus Floater is a flying enemy that prioritizes units on high ground tiles. Additionally, they inflict 15% stun elemental damage. Alongside +1 taunt level, the Sedimenter will drop a neoplastic shell on the tile it died on. This ability cannot be silenced, and they have no elite variant. The Collector splits one time into 2 copies at 50% HP. This ability can be silenced. The copies keep the HP when the original Collector splits. It takes a few seconds to activate. These Beanstalk wannabes have bulky stats but have a special ability when they die, the Gachapon. Upon death, they deploy between 1 to 3 enemies of one of 3 types. Predators 50% of the time, Collectors 30% of the time, and Sedimenters 20% of the time. These deployed trash mobs gain plus 200% increased movement speed. Additionally, the breeders that hold Collectors have a leaf icon above them, and breeders with a Sedimenter have a triangle icon above them. The Polynuclei Current Bearers have high bulky stats, including a decent 45 res. When they come within half a tile of a neoplastic shell, they consume it and gain plus 60% HP and plus 40% attack. Unable to be put asleep or stunned, the Abandoned are elite enemies of high HP and a heavy arts damage AoE attack. They lose this AoE attack when blocked, but still deal arts damage. The Vile Grower is quite similar to the Basin Sea Reaper with some changes. They will enter a combat stance when they take damage or come into contact with a neoplastic shell. They gain plus 400% movement speed, do not wait at checkpoints, and do a 10% stun elemental buildup radius per second. Additionally, their basic attacks do not inflict elemental stun buildup, nor do they lose HP over time by purely existing in their attack form, but they will lose a quarter of their max HP for every neoplastic shell they run into. Maritimus is the boss of Path of Life and has no direct form of attack, opting to trade his HP for boosting his sea monster allies. Maritimus himself does not attack nor can be blocked. During the fight, every 40 seconds he deploys 2 mononucleus predators which copy his route toward the blue box. In his first form, Maritimus gives one of his allies with the highest current HP with Guided Evolution. This skill grants the sea monster massively increased HP and attack, and they now do stun elemental buildup. When this monster is killed, Maritimus loses 40% of his max HP. He can cast this ability with up to 2 enemies on the map. Once killed, he goes into his second form. He reduces his Predator spawns from 40 to 25 seconds and now loses 1.8% max HP for every Seaborn on the map defeated. The Abandoned elite enemy will not reduce his max HP, however, as they aren't considered a sea monster. Maritimus can cast an ability to increase the attack of all sea monsters on the map by 25% every 60 seconds. This ability stacks up to 3 times. He has 2 special abilities, Fed Vitality and Prisoner of Humanity. During Fed Vitality, he will link himself to all enemies and lose 1% max HP per second for 28 seconds. During this, enemies can't be defeated and when taking fatal damage, get put to sleep and recover 5% max HP every second for 20 seconds. During Prisoner of Humanity, he will link himself to an operator and inflict one of the 2 IS-3 rejections, Bleed or Concentration Disorder, both working exactly like they do in IS-3. The rejections last for 50 seconds. If the operator is retreated or defeated, their tile and the 4 adjacent tiles will be sealed.
悪くない。